Happy Tuesday and happy 1st of October. I'm a little hoarse. It's a little better than it has been. I've been under the weather on and off for the last couple of weeks. But I decided today to do a video because when I first started my dialysis journey, I was doing videos in the beginning, but then I stopped. A lot was going on, and I needed to focus my energy on my son and my husband and things like that. And I still need to do those things, but I decided I wanted to, share my experiences of what I'm dealing with, and in a way to encourage other people as they go through their situations and trials. So, a backstory. I've had kidney disease since I was a child. I think I was maybe 6 or 7. And we didn't know what was going on until I got really, really sick. And then we found out I had an abnormality with my kidneys. And it just went downhill from there. And I was sick a lot. I was in a hospital a lot. A whole lot. I couldn't be around a lot of other people and children because of germs. I couldn't have pets because of germs and bacteria. It was a lot. And it was a lot on my mom. And, for her, she had already buried her husband. My biological father, had died when I was 2 months old. That's another story for another day. And I end up being raised by someone else, and that is who I refer to as my dad, because he's been there since I was little, since I was like 1. So that's who my dad is. But so here she was, she had just buried her mom a few years before, and then now her child is deathly ill, because that's exactly what happened. I was deathly ill, and it was a lot on my family, and I got better. I did, but it was always told to them that, for now, this can come back and it can be a lot worse. So, they monitored me over the years, and it was always that, it can come back, and chances are it will come back. And, understand that you might be on dialysis eventually, and then all this other stuff. So I just lived the best that I could as far as understanding what could happen. I got pregnant with my twins when I was 21, and that was not successful. I actually made it to almost 21 weeks, and they had to take them because I got preeclampsia and toxemia, and I went into organ failure, and I pretty much almost died with them. And I had the hardest decision deciding to let them take them, because in my mind, I was like, okay, well, if they live, I live on. And that's the important part. And my mother was like, but that's not the important part. So I had to make a decision, because it was like, there's no way they're going to live. And if we keep waiting, none of you will live. So I made that decision. And I had a C-section, and they took the babies. And I was grateful, because God allowed them to live an hour, which, if you know science, babies at 20-week gestation have no lung function. So they're not able to breathe on their own. Their lungs aren't even developed. So, for an hour he breathed life for them, for me. And I thought I wasn't going to survive that, and I did. I did. It wasn't easy. It was hard. So, then I think 4 years later, I got pregnant with my son, who is he is just a gift. He is a gift. And he is full of life and funny and sarcastic, and he's me. He acts a lot like me. And he's loving. Oh my goodness, he is so loving. He wakes up hugging and kissing on you, and he goes to sleep the same way. He's just a sweet boy. So I'm grateful. I'm blessed. So I had him, and he was healthy, even though, I actually showed signs of preeclampsia with him. And that's another video for another day. But I ended up having him, and he was perfectly healthy. And, but that conversation about my kidneys came up again, because they struggled through that pregnancy, and they said they will fail. It's just a matter of time when. And I kind of was like, all right. I live by this motto, and I always say God is still good no matter what goes on, which that is the truth. And so with that news, I just still said, well, I can't stop living because of this. And I didn't, still cautious, but I got married. I went on living the life I worked hard to live. So I've been on dialysis for 3 years. So I actually, about 5 years ago, I started to get really sick. My blood pressure got out of control. And it got so bad I started having nosebleeds. And I went to the hospital a few times. And, that was the beginning of my kidneys starting to just not work anymore. And, it was a conversation of, well, they're starting to fail. So we're just trying to see how long we can keep them going before they completely fail. And I'm like, okay. We knew this day would come. And my fear was never wanting to be on dialysis, because I never wanted to be tied to that machine. I don't really like restrictions, but that's my phone. But so after that, I still went on to do what I wanted to do. And I think my mother was turning 60. Was it 60? 65. God, it was 60. Lord have mercy. I gotta do the math. It was 65. It was 65. Forgive me. Sorry, Pam. A lot goes on. I forget. And yep, it was 65. Now it kind of had to come back to me. So I we wanted to plan a really big party for them, and we were still in COVID, unfortunately. We're still dealing with that, and unfortunately, I knew that my kidneys were failing. I was very tired, low on energy, and I knew, and I told my husband, I said, my kidneys are failing. And he said, well, honey, well, let's go and see what I said, I'm telling you, what they're going to do is they're going to put me on dialysis, but let me get through this party. And I just asked God for grace. Let me get through this party, and I'll deal with what's going to happen. And, I kept having all these signs. I was dealing with clients that had dialysis and kidney failure, this, that, and the third. And I kept having these signs, God was always talking to me in little ways. And we did the party, and I was tired, and everybody could tell something was off about me. And I ended up, we got back home, and I guess I had some kind of episode, and I lost my memory. I kept repeating myself. And that's when we found out my kidneys had completely stopped functioning. I mean, completely. You have a function, your ability to pee. That's what they do, to filter out the bad stuff in your body. Mine had stopped working. Generally, when they stop working, you can't pee. But by the grace of God, and when I say God's mercy, I was still peeing, and quite a bit. So, because what happens is when you stop peeing, that fluid builds up in your body, and it affects your heart. So, and yeah, but I was still peeing. I was getting rid of that excess fluid, but it wasn't filtering anything. And all of that toxic things got up in my blood, and it entered into my brain. And it caused me to have memory issues. And I had to have I had, I think, 2 or 3 MRIs, which I don't remember a couple of them. And they had found that I had lesions in my brain. And they were checking for MS because they saw signs of that as well. And God is, telling you, I could be on here for hours telling you how good God is. They saw the lesions. Then they went back and did another MRI. The lesions were gone. They didn't see them no more. And my memory came back. And I had to start dialysis. And they put the first one in my chest. So that's this right here. These 2 little dots right here are from where they sewed the port, so it would stay anchored. And that was the first one. And then the second one was when they were trying to make an access. It's kind of hard to turn my wrist. This is the first access attempt. This is temporary because this goes down into your main heart valve, and your artery that goes down into your heart. And this, you have to be careful because you can get an infection very quickly. And yeah, so this was the first one. I don't know if you can see, but there was a second one here. I'm trying to do it to where people. This is the third one. So there's, as you can see, there's a scar. There's 2. And then this is the 4th attempt, and the only successful. So I had several surgeries. To date, it was 11. And then I have 1 in my stomach. And I'm a transparent person, so I'm going to show you. This is the one in my stomach. This is Big Sexy. So, I had a lot of ups and downs with, dialysis. I lost my memory twice. The second time was much worse than the first. I didn't know anybody. My husband said that they had to sedate me twice because I was combative. And he said, you didn't know any of us. And what was happening before, my blood pressure with chemo was dropping really low. I actually passed out on the machine once, briefly. My blood pressure, I think she told me it dropped down to 77/59. So, just a lot of little issues. So that's when we decided, after I lost my memory for the second time and my blood pressure was just dropping, to go with peritoneal, which is the one in my stomach. And yes, I've had countless surgeries, unfortunately. And it has been definitely a journey. The first 2 years were difficult, especially that first year. It was a lot on my son. It was a lot on my husband. It was a lot on my family. I was in and out of the hospital. And these last couple of months, in this last month, I've had to go to emergencies at least 4 times. I think 3 or 4 times, because I've had complications and with being sick. And so, and like a month ago, actually, almost a month ago exactly, I had to go to the emergency because my stomach was so badly bloated and distorted because of being backed up, because of the peritoneal. That's the side effect. You take it, and then I take phosphorus pills to help get rid of extra phosphorus, because when you're on dialysis, your kidneys don't do that. They don't work. So the phosphorus builds up, and that's bad. So you have to take pills to help get rid of it. Well, if you don't poo, that stuff stays in, and it gets, you start itching like crazy. So anyway, I ended up having to go to the hospital, and they wanted to make sure that I didn't have any severe blockage or obstruction. So I'm going to tell you like I said, I can be on here all day telling you how good God is. And this is the first time I'm telling people this, hearing it from my own mouth. I had to have a CAT scan done. And it was discovered that I have a teratomas on my right ovary, which is a tumor. And that it is mature, but it is benign. But it is growing. And eventually I have to do something about it before it turns into something else, because they can turn into something else. And we're not going to go into what the something else is, but it is benign. And I would have never known it was there. I would have never known it was there if I hadn't have had to have that CAT scan. And the CAT scan was because of, being constipated, and they wanted to check for obstruction. I tell people all the time, God never lets me walk in darkness. So he orchestrated it so that I had to go have this CAT scan done so I could find this tumor, because if I hadn't known it was there, I could have went on by my merry little way, and one day it could have ruptured. And we wouldn't have even known. So God is his covering. His covering is amazing. I'm telling you. like I said, I have gone through a lot in these last 30 years. I had slipped into a coma when I was a child because of the kidney situation. And they told my mother they didn't think I'd wake up and that they would immediately have to start dialysis the next day. But they didn't think I'd wake up. But you see me and you hear me. That is the goodness of God. When my twins had to be taken, I had suffered heart, liver, kidney failure. I was gray. They told my mother the chances of her coming back is real slim. And for a person with long time kidney illness, my kidneys came back to 80% after, they took the babies out. Then, when I first started on dialysis, I remember a nurse saying to me, "Oh my God, I can just feel God's spirit on you." Because she said, just when they told me that you were still able to pee, and then when I saw how much you were able to urinate, oh my God, you are a walking miracle. Because the doctors kept saying, "I just don't understand how you were still able to go to the bathroom." Most people with 0% function, they don't pee anymore. And you have urine output of that of almost of a normal person. When I got pregnant with my son, I had every sign under the sun that I was going through preeclampsia. And that once you are preeclampsia, it doesn't reverse. And they was getting ready to start me on a trial medicine to see if they could stop it. They said, but generally it never stops. When you're preeclampsia, we're going to probably have to take him. I was 23 weeks pregnant with him. The doctor called me back and said, "I don't know what you're doing, who you praying to. But we sat here for an hour trying to figure out how you had every sign of preeclampsia. And then when we retook your blood, it was like nothing." She said, "I have colleagues that have been doctors for 20 years, and they have never seen that." The goodness of God. And then now, with my health being what it is, the doctor came back and said to me, "For you to have kidney disease as long as you've had it, your heart is perfectly healthy. It's like the only thing wrong with you is your kidneys. That the body has protected everything around it." And I just laughed and I just said, God is still good. That God had a covering over my body, protecting everything and keeping what he needed intact. And most people say, "Well, it's so sad that you're going through this." And I just don't understand. I understand. Hear me, I understand. I want you to see what God is doing. And if I need to be a vessel for him, well, here I am. Here I am. Let me be the vessel. The blessing is I get to be that so you can see God's works. So if I got to go through it, I'm going to go through it. And I'm telling you, I go through it. Right now, I'm dealing with the fact that Medicare won't cover me because I don't have enough credits. I'm one freaking credit short. I'm fighting with them with that. I'm fighting with Blue Cross because I've been on dialysis for 3 years and they don't want to continue to take the bulk of that expense. I'm waiting on them to call me for a transplant. But then you have to have that Medicaid or Medicare to pay for the expense of the medicine and the surgery and the longevity of what you have to deal with. So it's all these different things. But, while my husband is like, it's just a lot. And he's stressing, my mother's stressing. I have so much faith in my Creator to the point where I'm like, it's difficult, but I know God will make a way. This insurance crap is ridiculous, but I know He's going to make a way. We're going to figure this out. I wanted to go back to work, but I keep getting sick. I was like, the expense of everything, the cost of everything. I need to go back to work. I want to work. I want to make money. I'm tired of sitting at home. But I keep getting sick. So, I have to limit what I can do. So I'm trying to figure out, how do you make money with, the limitations that I've had. But I know God will make a way. And I guess I look at things as a different perspective. Yes, it sucks to be sick. This is not fun. But when I have my moments, I cry to Him, and He gives me strength. When I had to have this put in my chest, they're actually supposed to be able to put you out completely. They didn't want to put me out. They had some stupid story. And I was awake. And the numbing medicine that they put in, it didn't completely work. So I felt some of what they were doing. I literally felt them cutting this. But anyway, God let me walk on the beach with Him. When the pain got to be overwhelming, He said, come walk with me. And when I started to feel it again, focus only on me and walk with me. Walk with me. And when I had to have the surgery, all these in my arm, and they told me, we're going to try again. And I had an artificial graft put in this arm. After the first two didn't work, He put a graft in there. And it failed immediately. So I had all of this happen within like a 4-month time. So I had all these surgeries in like a 4-month time. It was crazy. And I kept telling him, I said, I want you to take it out. I want you to take it out. And he's like, well, generally when we put them in there, we don't really take them out. I said, well, let me tell you, it didn't work. And it hurts. And there's something not right. There's something wrong. And he said, well, it doesn't seem like anything's wrong. I said, I'm telling you, there's something not right. Take it out. Boy, we went back several months. He didn't want to take it out because he had done too many surgeries on this arm. And then he had did a revision sort of on this one. And he says, I'm afraid to cut on your arm anymore because you have nerve damage now, which yes, I do. I have neuropathy. I lost feeling in this thumb, parts of this thumb. And I, have some nerve issues here. And then further up here. But I told him, I said, I don't care. Take it out. He took it out. He found out there was an infection in the line of the graft. And if I had kept it in my arm, the infection would have built up. It would have caused an abscess. He said to me, well, you were right. You know your body. And like you got the medical degree, but I know my body. I know when something's wrong. And I wasn't about to go into it with him about, I got enough sense to know. Me and his body been together for a little minute. And like I said, God never lets me walk in darkness. So he's been covering me my whole life, protecting me my whole life. And I wanted to share some of my backstory with you, because as I go with this journey and I make these videos, I want you to understand that I am a firm believer in God, that I stand on that. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have the faith that I have if it wasn't for him. God is my everything. He is every fiber in me. And as I go forward in these videos, I want to encourage you. No, not everybody is strong in their faith. Not everybody is strong in their walk. And that's okay. It is okay. Because you can get there. You can get there. And if I can help you, I want to help you. I want to share with you my experience. What I know about God. What I know about Christ and his love and his forgiveness. I want to share with you. I want us to take a journey together. So, you know my backstory with my kidney illness now. And for those of you who have never seen my videos, I hope that you watch and I hope that you share. And there will be a lot more coming. God has put in my heart, I have a story to tell, and I need to tell it. He's just been that good to me. He's done that much for me. I have a story to tell, a testimony. I have a friend of mine who had, she says she got a testimony loaded, and boy, I'm telling you, she got one. And congratulations to her and her family on their new bundle of joy and their blessing. But oh my God, we are living testimonies, girl. See, if you just hear our stories, shoot, ain't no doubt about it, God is real. So, and I just want to encourage people to know that it's going to be all right. These gnats are just aggravating. Go on somewhere. See, the devil stay busy. But it's going to be all right. I tell my husband that all the time. You know, he and I have endured a lot together. A lot. We buried his son. And the poor baby was only 16 years old. 6 months later, we buried my brother. Only 50 years old. So my husband and I have been through a lot. That, for better or for worse, for sickness and health, yeah, we done tested that. And I love him with all my heart. Not more than I love God, but I love him with all my heart. That's my buddy. That's my buddy. That's my boo. As they say, that's my baby. So, yeah, that's, as I would say, that's my zaddy. So, yeah, that's my boo. And he has been wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. I mean, some people say, well, that's what he's supposed to do. Yeah, true. But some men are not equipped like that. But come hell or high water, he gonna be there. Every hospital visit, shoot, he would be in that emergency room till they put me in the room, falling asleep, just trying to be there for me in every way. Every doctor's visit, he watches me hook up my machine, take it apart. He is there for all of it. And I encourage him, I pray for him because this is hard on him. I think people don't realize when we say it's us that is sick. Yes, that it's difficult on us, more so us than them. But it's hard for you to watch your loved one go through. It's not an easy thing. That's a difficult thing. So, be mindful of that. Encourage them. Love on them. But yeah, I see me fiddling this freaking tape. Unfortunately, I have an allergy to the tape, and it kind of tears up my skin real bad. So, but you have to have it. So I just deal with, the adverse effects of ripping my skin off. So, but, and then there's freaking hose that it's long, but adjusting and trying to get it straight. And this is a long video, so if you're, it is a long one, but I couldn't condense it short. I mean, it's a lot and this ain't even the whole story. So I just encourage you to share my story. I mean, not encourage you to share my story. I just encourage you to have faith, trust in God. And please share my story. Share my story. Because I wanted to help someone else. There's a lot of people going through kidney illness. A lot. A lot of people who look like me. You get my drift. So it's a lot. And if I can encourage you, I want to. So I'm going to start regularly being on these videos and making these videos. And there'll be some other videos. I love to cook. And if you know me personally, you know that. That is my therapy, cooking. So, but I have been on this thing now for over 30 minutes. So that's long enough. But I love you. God bless you. And keep the faith.